This two-page proposal made me $25,000 a month for 3.5 years. Today, I am going to break down this entire proposal for you, and I'm going to show you exactly how this two-page proposal written in 1 hour made me $25,000 every single month for 3.5 years. Let that sit. If the average American makes $55,000 a year filling out job applications, what if the real money was in filling out the right kind of application? What if that $55,000 a year could become $55,000 a month, or $55,000 a week, or even $55,000 a day? If you're thinking that sounds far-fetched, let me ask you this. Why do some of the largest corporations earn $500,000 to $3 million per employee, while those same employees are barely making six figures? It's because someone is filling out bid applications while someone else is filling out job applications. And in this economy, where the value of your dollar has gone down 20%, but wages haven't moved, you've got to start asking yourself, who's winning? Who's losing? And what application are you filling out? Let's be real. We've stopped fighting. We've stopped building. We've stopped believing that we deserve better. But if you don't fight for what you want, you'll always work for someone who did. I know that stings, and it should. Because the truth is, you're not underqualified. You're just undermarketed. You're not lazy. You've just been looking in the wrong places. Stop filling out job applications. Start filling out bid applications. What if the breakthrough you've been praying for is just sitting on a dusty file cabinet at your local town hall? See, during the pandemic, people woke up. They remembered what life could feel like. Working from home, they were baking bread, they were seeing their family more often, and they were thinking again. And you tasted that freedom and said, I'm not going back. If that's you, if you've gone back, but your heart hasn't, then this video is for you. Let me show you the 2 pages that changed everything for me. My name is Allison Etnoff. I teach everyday people how to grow and scale their businesses through government and corporate bids. What is a bid? It's not just paperwork. It's an opportunity to grow your business exponentially faster than you ever imagined. I believe in community. I believe in equity. I believe in equality. I believe in justice. I believe in hope. And my mission is to lead as many people as possible out of the matrix and into the promised land. And at the end of this lesson, I'll reveal to you today's Win Big Bid of the day. This opportunity is worth over $500,000, and it might just be sitting in your backyard. So stay tuned, because this could be the door you've been waiting for. Now, before we dive into this 2-page proposal, I need to give you some context, because when you understand the problem, you'll see why this simple document is actually worth millions. How is it worth millions? Well, I can use this document again. And now I'm sharing it with you, and you can use it too. So let me be clear. For my clients watching, I've changed the names and the company and the owner. I protect my clients' privacy even when I'm teaching, but everything else, every number, every breakdown is 100% authentic. I've literally pulled this proposal straight out of my archives because it's a perfect example of how simple, powerful, and direct winning a proposal can be. The challenge is this: if you don't understand the problem a proposal is solving, then you won't fully see its power. So I want to walk you through this step by step, not just to show you the solution, but to train your eyes to see the hidden opportunities in your own business. Now, why does this matter? For those of you who haven't seen my video on how to write proposals, certainly go watch that immediately after this. People love that one because it peeled back the curtain on how proposals win. In fact, that video was the inspiration for this one, but this time we're going a little bit deeper. So let's start where every great proposal begins: the problem. Your local city or township has hundreds, if not thousands, of responsibilities, from keeping roads drivable to maintaining parks, public buildings, and essential infrastructure, just like water distribution systems. Or in this case, for this proposal, water mains. And trust me, water alone is a multi-billion-dollar operation every single year. So let me give you a quick 30-second crash course on how your water works, because once you understand the process, you'll see exactly where this business opportunity lives. Here's how it goes. Raw water is pulled from local waterways, rivers, lakes, and tributaries, and in some coastal cities, even from the ocean, because they use desalination plants, which strip salt from the water. Now, the water is then pumped into a treatment plant where it is purified and prepped for human consumption. From there, the water is pushed through a complex web of distribution pipes running underground from the treatment facility to your homes, your offices, your schools, and your storage tanks. But here's the kicker. These pipes are made from all different kinds of materials: wood, copper, steel, lead, zinc, even hybrid alloys, and every single material has a product life cycle, which means one thing: eventually, it all has to be replaced, and not just randomly. Pipes vary in size, material, depth, and placement, so cities have to be very strategic about what gets placed and when. Now, in the case of municipalities, they were managing an ongoing water mains replacement project. So each year they replaced between 1% to 2% of all of the water mains across the municipality. Why such a small number? Because most underground piping has a life cycle of 50 to 100 years, depending on factors like material, climate, soil conditions, and maintenance. But here's the critical part. Any material that poses a health risk or threatens water flow jumps immediately to the top of priority for that municipality and must be changed out immediately. So pipes made from like wood, lead, asbestos, cement, or galvanized steel may be considered urgent matters that need to be replaced. They're outdated, unstable, and in some cases downright dangerous. So based on the problem, the aging pipes, the potential for contamination, and the urgent need for infrastructure to be replaced, the municipality issues what's called an RFP. Now, RFP is also known as a request for proposal. And this wasn't for a contractor yet. It was first issued to an engineering firm. Why? Because engineers are responsible for prioritizing which water mains need to be replaced, or recommending the right placement material, or designing a safe OSHA-compliant action plan. For example, they might recommend replacing wooden or galvanized pipes with ductile iron, PVC, or concrete, but that's the engineer's call. They define the scope. So once the scope is in place, the municipality may then hire a contractor that does construction to execute the work designed by the engineer. Now, let me be very clear. I'm not an engineer. I don't own a construction firm. I was simply a consultant. I was in the room. I knew a lot of the local municipal executives, okay? And I was supporting them by analyzing their distribution system and identifying weak areas where they might be losing water. So every month I ran what they call like a KPI report, measuring the inflows and outflows across the entire distribution system, from the raw water source through the treatment plant into the distribution lines. So I looked for low pressure zones, irregular loss potential, all of those things, which are not important for this. But the point is, once you get your foot in the door, opportunities always come knocking. So coordinating a water main replacement project, it's a serious operation. You've got engineers who have set the specs. Then you have contractors who are doing the digging, and they're cutting out old pipe and putting in new pipe. And then you have vendors that are delivering the new pipes on site. And all of those pipes need to be faceted with bolts, and those bolts need to be counted and accounted for. Local residents living in the impacted streets. Let me paint the picture. Most water mains run a few feet from the street curb underground. So to replace them, contractors have to tear up the road. But what happens when a resident needs to pull their car out of the driveway? That requires active coordination to make sure homeowners and business owners can come and go safely. And guess what? Things go wrong all the time. Sometimes when crews dig up pipes, it's so corroded it collapses on impact. And when that happens, the surrounding sections might also collapse or might need to be isolated so that all of the damaged pipe will have to be replaced. Now, you've got a neighborhood with brown water, low pressure, or even no water at all. And when this happens, the city has to issue what's called a change order to the engineering firm or to the construction contractor. And for those of you who might not know what that is, a change order is simply an official document that additional work outside the original scope needs to be added. And that also comes with some additional pay so that you can cover that emergency. So if you're a business owner watching this, trust me, we're going to do a whole video on change orders and how they protect your bottom line and keep you from going broke on a job you thought you'd be profitable. So stay tuned for that. Nonetheless, these types of water main replacement jobs, you need public relations and resident communication. Now, here's another twist most people miss. When things go wrong, pipes burst, driveways get blocked, water goes out, the public starts calling, and someone has to be on the other end of that to answer the call. That's where PR firms come in to report and to communicate incidents to the public and also to the local municipality. They usually coordinate with the city officials, and they help protect the municipality's reputation. Oversight, integrity, and construction inspectors. Here's the truth. Municipalities can't be everywhere at once. They often are understaffed and overstretched. So who makes sure that the right pipes were delivered and installed? Let's say the engineer calls for 100 feet of ductile iron pipe. How do you know the contractor didn't use concrete pipe instead? Who verifies that information? That's where a construction inspector comes in. The construction inspector acts as the eyes and ears on behalf of the city on site, and they monitor the deliverables, they track installation, they verify safety compliance measures, they document any incidents that they see, and they make sure that the work meets the engineer's scope. So you might think that this is overkill, but I promise you it is not. Thousands of parts show up at job sites every single day, and it's very easy to lose track or for something to go wrong. Sometimes you need 2 or 3 or even 4 inspectors to verify that everything the city paid for actually got installed. They also log OSHA visits. They review safety practices and help prevent incidences that can lead to injuries, lawsuits, or even fatalities. Because when someone gets hurt on the municipal project, an employee can sue the contractor, the engineer, and the city, and nobody wants that kind of drama. This is how I landed the contract. Now, back to how I got involved. The municipality had an engineer, they had a contractor, but they needed a PR firm, and they needed a construction inspector to be able to be on site to oversee all of this day-to-day activity. I happened to be walking past the municipal office one day and got pulled in because of the work that I've done for them to see if I would be open to providing them support on this matter. So this was an opportunity that kind of like came out of nowhere, to be honest with you. And it was also helpful that I was an African-American woman and that I had my minority certifications. So in essence, I was a shoo-in to be able to support this operation. As a matter of fact, there was an entity, a larger entity that was just doing PR, and they were charging twice as much for one component of the work, to where I was able to come in and save my local municipality thousands of dollars. Now, for me, I didn't care because I had never seen $25,000 a month ever. In just a moment, I'll show you the exact 2-page proposal that landed my firm that opportunity. But before I do, remember this: government contracting isn't just for builders. It's for analysts, it's for strategists, it's for communicators, it's for problem solvers. And that just might be you. In that case, I was just a problem solver. I was an analyst. I worked, for the municipality, but I had never quite done this type of work before. But because I had somewhat of an understanding of distribution systems and how they worked, and I'd done some analytics, they trusted me to come in and to support their operation. So now that you have a solid understanding of the problem, the challenges that can go wrong, let's look at the 2-page proposal. I want you to notice that there is no cover page. There is no fancy lingo on here. There's nothing. So with that, we're just gonna look at the header. Proposal to Company A for public outreach and field inspection services. That's the construction inspectors for the Small Mains project. And I call this city the Big Bid City, okay, in California. We've changed the names. So let's look at this. Every proposal has an introduction. And what does the introduction do? The introduction is kind of there just to say who you are and what you've done and why you're the person for the job. Etnoff Consulting Services, that was the name of our company at the time, is pleased to submit the proposal to Company A for the Big Bid City upcoming Small Mains project, commonly referred to as the New Small Mains Project, which includes field engineering services as well as public outreach services or additional services as directed by Company A. We have included the public outreach component for consideration under the assumption that since ECS is being considered for field inspection activities, that further customer service, contractor, and city coordination can be efficiently provided. In essence, we understood the problem. We were only asked to do the field inspection work, but when we had an opportunity to sit down and look at all the components that the bid required, we said, well, you know what? We can also do the PR work because we know all of the people involved, and you'll see later down that we address that. Maintaining a positive image throughout the project and dealing with unforeseen events that adversely affect customer service are very important issues to the city and Company A. ECS would offer to leverage its strong relationships with key public works personnel. And then in parentheses, we name all of the personnel that we know. Now, for the purposes for this, we've removed their names from here. But the goal here in this proposal was to establish that we have a working relationship within the local municipality. Now, pause. I know several of you are saying to yourself, well, Allison, I don't have an existing relationship with my local municipality. Yeah, so that's the point of this. It's for you to create a relationship with your local municipality. I got tons of videos talking about how to do that or how to engage in that. They have industry days. They have all different kinds of, they have pre-bid meetings. All you gotta do is just pull up a bid. 9 times out of 10, these bids have what's called pre-bid meetings. And now you have a reason to be in the building. You have a reason to ask questions, to be in their face, to make an impression. That is the beginning of creating a great working relationship with the local municipality. Now that might not be your opportunity. That might not be be something that you're really super interested in, but the goal is to show up. What I've noticed is 9 times out of 10, half the battle is in showing up. We've gone through last section here. The proposed services are described below in the scope of services and are presented in a manner that supports Company A, who will perform the lead role in the construction administration phase of this very important project. Okay, I hope that you're gathering all of this here. This proposal is to Company A for public outreach service and field inspection services. So Company A, if you didn't pick that up, is the construction firm, and we're providing engineering services, or we're providing field inspection services to the construction entity. So here's the background of the problem. Now, every proposal has this, or every good proposal should have this, is the background of what the problem is. And what that does is it just ensures that you're communicating directly with the municipality, that you have a full understanding of the problem. And what you'll find too is there's a lot of regurgitation in this. So if I wanted to, Lord knows, I probably could have gotten this in 1 page or maybe 1.5 pages. The Big Bid City is about to start a water main distribution improvement project. Company A has designed this project on behalf of the city and has assisted the city through the bidding phase. It is our understanding that award has been made to construction company B, and that work will begin shortly. It is our understanding that this new small mains project is structured in similar fashion to the current small mains project, which is currently winding down. As a matter of fact, I'm showing you the duplication of this, meaning we're renewing our submittal. It is our understanding that the new small mains project is structured in similar fashion to the current small mains project, which is winding down, in that various water mains locations have been identified as being deficient and that proposed upgrades will be executed in the field. This is what we're talking about. So the water mains, we've identified areas where these water mains need to be replaced and they need to be executed in the field. Now, while ECS, that's our company, is currently performing a public outreach role in the active small mains project, ECS has been asked to perform field inspection services on the new small mains project for continuity purposes. So ECS is also proposing for consideration a public outreach role in this new small mains project as well. So we're asking for an expansion of our role within this project. And we're in essence proposing that we be the entity to help the city save a little bit of money, because everybody could save a little bit of money. We're moving on to the next major component, which is scope services. So here we go. The preliminary objective of the public outreach services is to ensure, to the extent possible, that all affected parties, primarily Big Bid City water customers, are adequately informed of any impending inconvenience resulting from the water main work, so as to minimize the impact of the work and provide the customer with adequate time to prepare for any interruption in water service. Other stakeholders may include the mayor's office, the Office of Constituent Services, and the city's risk management office. The customers will also be given very clear written information on who to call should they need assistance during the construction period. Phone and email support will be available 24/7. This is what we're proposing to the city, that we will provide the PR services and inform the local water customers of any interruption or anything that's happening within their neighborhood. ECS has developed a strong relationship with the water director, the administrative director, in addition to the service division supervisor and the shop supervisor. These relationships allow for expedient action when issues arise in the field that adversely affect customer service or the positive public image that must be maintained throughout the duration of this project. So we're really like putting it on there. We are really like putting the heat on. We're saying like, we know the job, we know the work. We're going to provide 24/7 services so that if there's any customer complaints or anything of that sort, that our team will in essence come in. Now, how do we do that? We set up phones. We had people that were on call around the clock. Now, were calls coming in all the time? No. And so we took that into consideration, but in the event of an emergency, we needed to also make sure that people were able to get through. We can talk a little bit about that later, about operations wise, how we have this all set up. Now let's go through the bullet points. Generation and delivery of all appropriate written public notification documents as deemed necessary. So literally, I had hired a guy to go ahead and like put little notes on everyone's homes, because I think according to the local municipality, any notices coming from the city about any sort of construction happening had to literally be either handed to the homeowner or the business owner, or it had to not be put in their mailbox, but kind of like on the door. You ever see people put like little papers on your door and stuff like that? Well, that's the requirement here. Receiving and managing and documenting all calls, complaints, and concerns in connection with the water main work. Now, I will say this, we live in a digital age where you can get a phone number from anywhere. And we did not have a call service set up in this regards. We just had people on call during different parts of the day to help execute this work. Assistance with first attempting to address the customer's question or resolve the complaint/concern internally. Should a assistance be needed in resolving the issue, ECS will solicit the appropriate assistance from company A or the appropriate resources within the city. Okay. Coordinating public outreach activities with the city call center, with the public works department. So really, we're just laying it on thick that we know everybody in town. And wherever the problems lie, we'll be able to alert the proper authorities or the proper department to get the issue resolved quickly. Listen to me. When you fill out a proposal, you make sure that you do this. Any proposal that you submit, you always want a seat at the table. I am dumbfounded by how many subcontractors will subcontract with a primary contractor, and they won't make sure that they put within their contract that they ought to attend monthly construction progress meetings or monthly progress meetings. You want to be seen at the table. You want to wear your business name across your chest if you have to get the word out, to constantly alert your local municipality that you are working for them. You'd be surprised how many times primary contractors will not allow you a seat at the table. And I find that criminal, because me being at the table has allowed for so many opportunities. It allowed for this opportunity to present itself. When you're creating your proposals, you make sure that you say you're going to attend the monthly or bi-weekly or weekly progress meetings. Any and all other assignments delegated by company A or the city, not specifically described herein. So we're just saying we're going to take care of it all. Now let's get to the real good stuff here. I kind of explained this to you already about what the objectives are for the field inspection services. I call them construction inspection services, but it's all the same thing. So I don't want to repeat that. However, if you want to get a copy of this, I will provide a copy of this in our Win Big Bids community for you. Now, the money breakdown. I only charge them $875 a week for the public outreach. And that's ultimately because it wasn't that demanding. Like some days we didn't even get phone calls about an issue, right? So, and being that I was very familiar with, the work itself, issues only arise when there's like a 911 type of situation. And even then, calls don't come in like back to back to back. $875 over 30 weeks, that was what, $26,000? And then we hired for field inspection services, or we call that a little bit earlier, construction inspection services. We were charging $75 an hour for a junior field inspector. We were charging $115 an hour for just an engineer. And then we were charging $175 an hour for a senior engineer. Now, why is that needed? Because, a senior engineer is more, he knows the different soil types. He understands a little bit better, maybe OSHA standards. Those are the safety standards that should happen on site. An inspector, he's kind of like that newbie guy. He just sits there with a clipboard. And then as the trucks come in, he's counting how many pipes are coming in, or he's identifying and counting how many nuts and bolts. So you don't want a guy that you're paying $175 an hour, or you're billing that to the client for $175 an hour. You don't want him doing that type of work. You want him doing higher level work. All right. And we gave our pricing for each, and then we broke it all down for 30 weeks. And this is a 6-month contract for $154,000, and it's renewed every 6 months. So in essence, we renewed this same contract, 6-7 times. And I still have this contract today. And this type of work is still available all over the country. Now, am I a specialist in mains replacements and whatever? No, because we found bigger fish to fry. But for those of you who are just getting started, this might be an incredible opportunity for you to grow and scale your business. Well, if you made it this far in the video, you may as well hear the Win Big Bid of the day. Now, we are calling all Oregon mental health providers. Lane County is in need of providers to deliver community-based behavioral health services, helping adults with serious mental health issues avoid institutionalization. Now, you can offer supported housing, mental health treatment, case management and coordination, supported employment, transition planning. Now, this bid is due September 30th, 2025 by 3 p.m. and they're only accepting email submissions. You must have an Oregon certificate of approval and insurance. Now, all qualified applicants will be awarded a contract. Let me say that again. All qualified applicants will be awarded a contract. So that means they're really hungry. So if you're close to this area, or if you know someone who is in this business, this might be a wonderful opportunity for you to go after the bid and hire a subcontractor to go in and do the work. And if you don't know how to write proposals, that's okay. Join the Win Big Bids community and we will show you how. If you're interested in this opportunity, all the info is in the description below. If mental health is not quite your thing, but you do have a specialty in mind, drop your city and your specialty in the comment section below, and our Win Big Bids concierge may find the perfect opportunity just for you. If you like this proposal, and if you want a quick video to get going on your proposal writing journey, we've got you covered. Select our How to Write Proposals video. This is Allison Etnoff. Go win and win big.